Cody Collier, how are you, brother?
Great. How are we doing, Leonard?
Great, great. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Powerline. What was it like out there?
It was a muddy mess for anyone that missed out. Yeah, it just poured rain all week, poured rain on Friday. It was just a sloppy mess.
How bad did it hurt the youth race?
The youth was pretty gnarly. It actually ended up pouring in the middle of the 11 a.m. race. I apologize for my boy there. Must have saw a squirrel or something. But no, youth race wasn't too terrible, but it did rain in the middle of the amateur race, the 11 a.m. race, and made it really messy conditions for the rest of the day.
Wow, that's crazy stuff, man. Do you remember who won the youth class?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I know Likens got the win. I don't think he got the whole shot. I think he got a good start and picked through the pack and just ran it from there. Avery Collins got second. She's a great young rider. Runs out front row and no, put on a really good ride. Came up through the pack and she definitely didn't have a good start. Had to come from the back all day. And then Garrett Cox rounded out the podium. He was up front all day and just Avery was just on a charge.
That's freaking awesome. Those young kids, they're the backbone of the sport there. And it looks like to me that the entries are staying strong, maybe even growing. And, we got to talk to BNR about their youth program machines, the 150s and the 250s that they're working on. You got to hand it to those guys. They're putting some big effort in that to make sure that they have riders for the future.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, they're the future of our sport. Without them, the sport will die with us, right? So they take care of the kids, and yeah, they do great stuff trying to make a budget, not even a budget quad, just an affordable, badass race machine. So they do great.
Affordable is the key, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, they do a great job over there. I wouldn't even call it budget, just affordable, really good quality, really good bang for your buck racing over there.
Right on, right on. Hey, so let's jump right into the 4x4 Pro class. What went on with you guys? I mean, as bad as the conditions were, I mean, you guys are four-wheel drives. Does it really hamper you that much?
I mean, the mud's not too bad, but when it gets polished off and slick with all the slick rain, absolutely. The weight of those machines, the way that the front end pushes in corners, it definitely makes it very tricky to ride a 4x4 when it's icy and slick like that.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
the first half of the race wasn't awful because it hadn't rained yet, and there was a good bit of tack going on, but it rained in the middle of our race, and it got very slick very fast.
So if you don't catch on to its conditions, it can cause you to have off-course excursions and all kinds of other issues, right?
Oh yeah, no, you could no, definitely slow the pace down if you try to hit a section on lap 3 the same did lap 1 or 2. It was especially like a downhill corner. You better hold on.
Were there any incidents that you were aware of?
Oh, there was all sorts of bottlenecks. Just bottlenecks galore. I don't think there's anything other than people getting stuck and trying to get through all the stuck people. I don't think there's anything too crazy going on for our race. Me and Fraizer had a great battle out front. We pulled away, and we were nose and tail for 3.5 laps. And halfway into that last lap, I got pointed a line in a bottleneck, and I took it. And it was a really tight line up a hill, and I made it around the corner around this big bush, and there's just helmets everywhere, real tight, nowhere to go. So I had to back on down the hill and lost tow. And I had where it got muddy and everything, throwing mud up on the trees. We talked about that before, how it hit you in the face and everything. I blew apart my goggles. So I was taking a lot of mud from Fraizer. I was the one behind for the most part that day, and took a lot of mud, and my eyes shut down that last lap. I lost tow. I lost that adrenaline. My eyes just said no more with all the mud I had caked in there. So I ended up struggling to finish the race from there, and made it through scoring and pulled off. And my eyes said no more. They shut down. I couldn't open up my eyes under my own power. Had to get them flushed out by the med crew. If you guys seen Between the Arrows, I got a nice little sneak peek of that. But yeah, not a lot of fun after the race, but it was great for 3.5 laps, even fighting through the mud.
Man, and Kaden got third.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, great. He's really been putting it together. He had a great ride this past Mason Dixon as well. We'll talk more about that in the next episode. But yeah, no, he's really been putting it on lately.
That's freaking awesome. You know, you guys are putting on a great deal. I'm gonna get out there to check it out. Trust me. I want to.
Me and Fraizer are putting on shows right now. We're having crazy battles, really high level riding, just really getting all we can out of those 800-pound machines.
And the slickness that would normally not affect some of the other machines, did it allow the front runners or any of the other 450s to catch up to you guys, or was it just bottlenecks causing everybody to be everywhere?
Mostly the second one. With the slickness and stuff, it's tricky in the corners, but where it's slick and we have four-wheel drive and 800 pounds to cause traction, up the hills and down straightaways, you gain a lot of time there. So actually, my buddy Justin Wood from the vet class, the military class, he got 6th overall on his 4x4. He used to race 4x4 pro back in the day, has a couple podiums, but he's dropped back to that the military class and just having fun, and be 6th overall on the day.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, I think, and then we'll go move on right on to the WXC. Kate Osburn got the win. I think she did place it like 11th or 13th overall. There's 4x4 stacked the front of the field.
Yeah, well, do you think it had anything to do with the mud, or was it?
Go ahead.
No, I was.
Yeah, no, definitely the mud. At 100% the mud. We'll talk about Mason-Dixon in the next episode. There's a lot of sport quads out front that race where it was dusty and a lot of off cambers, different conditions, help and hurt the 4x4 and sport quad.
Right. It's awesome to see Katelyn out there getting the win. Hannah Hunter got 2nd and Chloe was 3rd. I mean, it didn't even really put a dent in Jessica's points lead. She's got a good, nice cushion, and she can pretty much coast for the rest of the year. I don't think Jessica's ever going to coast when she gets out on the course, but it's just odd to see her off of the podium.
Yeah, no, just conditions were tough, and like we talked about, I think I called it with Kate with the win. Just Hannah and Kate was really gritty riders and pulled through, and Chloe was riding really well with the 3rd. I don't know what happened to Jess. Just unfortunate issues with lappers. I guarantee it. She's a great rider in the mud, so I probably not a lot of her own doing. Maybe one mistake put her in a couple bad spots, but
you know what we haven't talked about is Hannah Hunter on the top of the box.
Did Hannah win Powerline? I thought Kate won Powerline.
Katelyn won Powerline, but we haven't talked about Hannah on top of the box at all.
All year, yes. No, I thought so. No, everyone else is stepping up. Jess is strong off her championship. Chloe's seems the young and hungry one, stepping up to the occasion, like we've talked about with Hannah, just figuring out the Yamaha and figuring out herself and trying to get back to where she was on that Honda.
Yeah, and she's kind of like Grayson Eller. She's just always right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just can't seem to other than at Powerline, Eller put it on top of the box.
Yeah. Speaking of Eller, Eller getting the win in XC2. Chris Howard getting 2nd, first time on the box, I think, for him ever. Or he might have gotten it at Georgia. He was riding up front in Georgia. I don't recall if he got on the podium or not. But he's really been putting on good rides early in the races and kind of fading back, as the track develops and being a young rider trying to evolve with the track. But he got 2nd, and then Kevin Yoho, longtime XC1, A-Works vet champ. He got 3rd in XC2.
Right. And, it did some shaking up in the points because your West Coast guy finished so far down in the deal. Glauda didn't have that great of a race either. So that kind of shook it up a little bit. Alex, was 4th, so he didn't lose much ground at all. So there's those 2 guys are still keeping it tight. I don't even know where Grosse finished. He was down there quite a ways. So,
I was like top 10.
Yeah, he didn't. He got 12th. So
yeah,
he didn't fare too well. The top 3 in points though are kind of solid from everybody else. But Eller is looking like he's trying to make a bid with Alex to take that top spot.
Yeah, no, I think you see some chinks in the armor with the Alex has had a bad race here and there, and Eller just keeps putting them together and keeps holding confidence.
Yeah, those guys are incredible. You know, they can go so fast. I think you were explaining to me that the first row is hampered by not knowing where they're going, and the second follows the pass so they can close the gap. So the XC2 guys get to close the gap. So on lap 1 or lap 2, they're farther up in the order than after the XC1 guys gain, you know, understand where the track's going, then they start to pull away at the end and separate the gap again.
Yeah. So like as an XC2 guy, you can kind of feel like a top XC2 guy has been riding with XC1 guys. He kind of knows the pace of an XC1 guy. So when they get out there, get a good start, they know what the pace is. They know, okay, I see that there's no bark off of trees. I can see the dirt. No one's made any big mistakes. So I can push the normal pace just a little bit.
Right.
So if it's in sections, you'll see someone's rear tire bounce higher, some bark off a tree. Like, okay, I need to not push the pace right here, but hold what I think the right pace is.
Right.
If that makes sense. So you can you kind of know what the normal pace is supposed to be, and you by just watching some tire tracks, you can be like, okay, no one's made mistakes here. I can kind of push just a little bit.
Right on, right on. You know, I think I'm gonna have to we mixed up our order on the podium just a little bit.
Yeah. I think you were right on the. I think you're on the money with the top 3. Just the order was off.
No, I didn't pick Wyatt.
You picked Fowler. Yeah, I think I picked Wyatt, and I picked Wyatt and Fowler. You picked Fowler and Merritt.
I don't remember who your third was, but you know, we talked about Fowler. We talked about the old man, the Gator. We talked about so many of these guys. But check this out. In the results, McClure and Boric are 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
They put on a great ride.
Yeah, no, that's the first time we've seen Borch in the top 5 in a while. Awesome to see. You know, McClure, the sneaky snake, gets up there here and there. Having an off year, coming off of a broken collarbone last year, so he's still rebounding from that, putting everything together. But yeah, very cool to see the vets out in the top 5.
Yeah, and Abney was 6th, and he was coming off of an injury too that doesn't seem to be hampering him any at all.
No, goggles were off, and he was enjoying the Ohio mud.
Right. Ronnie Roush and Hunter Hart and Glauda Jr. didn't seem to fare too well.
Ronnie Rush was putting in the ride of his career. He was running 5th in front of Boric, having a very, very good day, and had a mechanical issue about 2 miles from the finish. So Ronnie Rush, shout out Ronnie, having a stellar ride. So hate to see it, but you know, that's nothing but builds confidence for him. If he finished or not, I think it does the same thing for his confidence, if not makes him hungrier because he didn't finish. So
right. You're that far up in the order, and then you have that problem.
Yeah, it just makes you hungry to get back up there.
Wow.
So,
Man.
Yeah, a lot of people went with the big tires. Ronnie went with the small tires, and he was making it work.
You know, Walker did have some issues there, and the Gator pulled over and helped him.
I heard about that. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, those of you that didn't know, Walker, Bryson had like a 2-minute lead at one point, and there's a big, massive bottleneck. All the XC1 guys were together. I think a lot of the XC2 guys ended up catching the XC1 guys, but they're all bottled up there. And by the time they got back going, Walker was, I think he said, like outside of the top 5 in the pack, and made a mistake on a downhill, just pushing the pace, trying to come up and through, and got pinned under a squad. And a couple people stopped and made sure he was okay. Gator was the only one that stopped and actually flipped the quad over for him.
Yeah, Adam picked him up and got him okay. There was some talk about a shoulder that may have or may have not popped back in, and got him going again. So you know, he finished farther back than we would normally see him in 9th, but he's still in the fight, you know.
Yeah, after all that, and still finished in the top 10. So tells you a lot about him right there.
Yeah, that was rough. You know, I believe in his reporter, the information that I read, that he was in a fetal position under his quad.
Oh, nothing you can do, man. Nothing you can do. Yeah, got a 300-pound quad and make it 4 plus with all the mud.
You know what? We can't not talk about this guy. Bryson Neal puts on such a great ride all the time. You know, a line infraction, mud, whatever it is, allowed these guys to get away from him and get in front of him. You know he's going to bounce back because he's such a dominant rider right now. So third on the podium. At one point, I believe they thought he could be counted out of the top three, and he still managed to fight his way there.
Yeah, like we were talking about the Hoosier, we were going to see a Bryson Neal looking to make a statement, and he pulled 45 seconds the first lap and almost a minute on the second lap. So he was on an absolute roll, putting everyone on notice until the lappers and the bottleneck struck, and he was the first one to it. Had to make the first decision. It wasn't the right decision, evidently. He got hung up. Everyone caught up to him. I think him and Walker got out pretty much together, about outside of the top five, and yeah, no, he was a minute down, I think, on the lead at one point, and just absolutely clawed his way back, caught up to Wyatt, less than 10 seconds off the lead, and I think he just went poor on the line and lost a little bit of time at the end. But he was right on Wyatt with like a mile to go, and then you seen him lose a little bit of time.
Dude, these guys are putting in some amazing races, and we just have to, you know, all of you guys are doing such an amazing job, and you're out there battling. And, you know, other than the WXC, there's nobody stretching the title. Everybody's in a dogfight. You know, you and Brandon, you know, Neal is still there. It's still alive. Yes, he's won a lot of races, but you know, he hasn't locked it up yet. Walker's still close enough, or Merritt is close enough to pose a challenge. And in XC2, you know, you got 3 guys, maybe 4, that could win that title. So it's still great racing.
Yeah, no, great racing all around. No, all the premier classes are putting on a show for everybody, for sure.
That's awesome. Hey, brother, we're going to go to Mason-Dixon next time. Cody, I really appreciate all you do for me and you do for the sport of GNCC cross country racing. Keep it up. And again, thank you so much for being there and helping us produce these reports.